I have a Reddit post that is a doozy. She says, I left my husband the day after our youngest moved out. He says I've deceived him all these years. All right, so this is what she says. My 49-year-old husband cheated on me. It was 10 years ago when I got a call from school saying that our youngest, then 9, was sick and needed to go home. When I arrived, I heard them in our bedroom and I panicked, made loud noises to let them know they weren't alone and that our daughter was with me. I'm crying just writing this. I still cry when I remember that day. The first year was the hardest on me. I felt so insignificant and inadequate, ugly and undesirable. We started therapy, and my husband promised to do anything to make it work again. We moved apartments, and I bought new furniture, and I started a new habit of changing the sheets every night before bed. All of this wasn't as effective as that one morning when I woke up and realized that I wasn't in love with my husband anymore. After this realization, everything seemed easier moving forward. I saw him as a roommate and a great support raising the children and a good friend. We love our children and we wanted the best for them. For these next 10 years, we hardly ever fought, and we raised 3 beautiful, happy, and successful young people. When I realized that I didn't love him anymore, I also stopped caring what if he did it again. It was one of my nightmares in the beginning. I didn't care anymore as long as I slept in clean sheets every night. Around Christmas, our youngest daughter, who is now 19, got her first contract for her own apartment. That's when I knew I was free. I also set into motion my plans of moving out and getting my divorce. I found myself an apartment too, and I thought my husband can live in our apartment until we settled everything up. When I told him and handed him the divorce papers, he was in shock. And when I moved out the day after my daughter, on April the 2nd, he was even more shocked and distraught. Now he is telling me that I have deceived him all these years, acting like I was fine when I wasn't, while he lived in regret every day for knowing how he hurt me. I am cold and calculated, and I am vindictive. I don't recognize any of these accusations. I don't see things the way I don't see things that way. I saw it as me and him, of course, doing the best with what I was dealt to make a happy and content life for our children, our whole family, really, and I think I'd succeed. So this is long, and she says, yes, they still had sex, but it was about 2 or 3 years later, and they do it 2 to 3 times a year. So obviously the fact that he didn't know that there was a problem speaks to him, and I will make this a part 2. Okay, so I left off on, I'm not sure how he didn't know things were off because they were having sex 2 to 3 times a year. She says, in my mind, if he cheated when we were very intimate and active, he was probably cheating now. It bothered me less and less with years. I don't know how long they were sleeping together. I don't know who she was. I never wanted to know. I just saw her once, and that was the only thing I didn't want to know in therapy. I don't know if he still slept with her or others. I just assumed he did because it was easier for me to expect the worst. I never said I love you to him again, something we used to say often before. He continued saying it and always told me that he would wait for me to say it back. I didn't need to leave to find happiness sooner. I was happy and lucky having my children in my home. I didn't need more, but now I see no reason or happiness in staying. I never did what I did to get back at him or to get revenge. My children know I have left, but they are sad, but my reason was good enough. I was out of love with him. They don't know the details, and we are keeping it this way. They don't need to know anything. No, I don't change my bedding every night. Now, I have no need. Now, I'm going to get into the comments because the comments really are telling, because men don't understand when we are not nagging anymore, when we become silent, that's when we are calculating. Silence is not good, but they don't see this. Okay, these comments. And never again told him I love you in 10 years, not once. And then this next person says, I'm not sure how he didn't come to the conclusion that she was checked out. I think I noticed something was up after less than a week. Now, this person with this highlighted post, what way too many men interpret checked out as everything is fine, because when most women check out, They stop fighting since they don't care anymore. Men think no fighting means the problem is solved. And that's the key. That's the, like when you used to watch movies back in the day, women would be fighting and hollering and cussing and crying. And that was from the perspective of a man. Women, when we check out, we go quiet. We start calculating. And that should be scarier than when women are still engaged. When women are still hollering and crying, that's when there is still some modicum of love. When there's nothing, when there's no crying, no talking, there's nothing else there. This is what happened to me. My ex punched me in the face and I checked out for 2 years until I had saved enough money to leave. He thought we were doing good because we didn't fight anymore. Not fighting is not a sign that everything is okay. But this has been a good one. Y'all jump in the comments. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, share.